This is how to stop losing your health advantage in a fight once you've gotten it. Whether you hit them hard without immediately taking return damage or you're third partying, this is how to finish them off without getting hit hard yourself. And I think everyone knows the real reason, which is to stop being so reckless. So this will be a PSA on what you should be doing and maybe a few reasons you hadn't thought of yet. I'll show you my gameplay in real games too at the end so you can see how it actually plays out if you don't push headfirst like an idiot. Stick around till then, but of course tip number 1 and PSA in this video is it's okay to let them heal up, and here's why. Most people will get the health advantage and be so scared of letting them heal up that they'll push into a horrible situation to try and get the finish. I've seen and personally done this a few times myself where I'll get a crack and then I'll run after them through their own builds. I then find myself in a place where I don't own any of the pieces around me and I have purposely put myself in a full box situation. It is crazy that in 1v1 build fights or something, everyone is so afraid of getting boxed up, but will then to do that exact thing on their own by running into a box of full built pieces. At least if you're getting pieced up in a build fight, all of the walls are weak and you can somewhat easily break out with a pickaxe swing. But in this situation, if you're chasing someone down, every wall is going to be relatively high HP since you are running through old builds. And I'm sure I don't have to point this out, but that is not a spot you want to be caught in. Even if you are 200 HP and the enemy is 1, all it takes is them to turn around, do a right hand peek, and you are dead, or at least going to be taking a huge hit where you guys are going to be on a level playing field of super weak. So I don't recommend putting so much weight on your shoulders to try and stop too minis from being popped. I'm telling you, it is not worth it to put yourself in a bad situation over 50 HP, because that is the most common heal up scenario. You'll get an enemy weak, they'll have minis, they'll be able to pop them, and you can honestly just let them get that off. Obviously, don't make it easy for them. You want to be pressuring them from exterior walls when you're not chasing them down, but don't recklessly go inside of their own builds. From the outside, spray their walls, hit a pickaxe swing or fake swing, just make them nervous. While they're attempting to pop those minis or whatever heal it might be, you want to be trying to take their walls to get them to stop popping and rebuild. But obviously don't get too aggressive with your pickaxe where they can make an easy edit on you to get counter damage. But of course you have to accept the fact that sometimes they're gonna get it off. You might fake a swing by not breaking their wall and they stick that mini and get it off. But that's okay. I'd rather have multiple safe peaks and lose a little bit of my health advantage due to them healing instead of losing my health advantage due to me being reckless and taking damage. Although on the other side of the spectrum is losing your health advantage due to a third party. This can likely be the worst problem for many of you. In this instance, it's not like you're even getting too aggressive against your opponent, but you're still getting punished. And sometimes this feels out of your control, but it is very much within it. One of the best tips to improving at the game, or just in life in general, is to believe that everything is in your control. Sometimes I think that getting unlucky is playing the victim card. And obviously that's not always the case, but it's better to arrogantly believe that you can improve any situation you're in than to hopelessly believe that it's out of your hands. And maybe that got a little deep, but if you agree with that sentiment, please stick around and invest in the channel, because that's how I run my life and of course this channel. And let me know if you'd like to see more life related tips and story videos, because as my OG subscribers know, I got a lot of shitty animated stories to tell, from girl advice to the biggest licks of all time. But back to the Fortnite tip, if you're getting third partied, believe it's in your control. Instead of hopping on top of the enemy's box and swinging like this with your back exposed to the world, do yourself a favor and make this build fight into a box fight. Cover off your sides, try and take that piece in between you and the enemy, spray out that wall, and just start box fighting. It's crazy how many players think that build fighting and box fighting are completely different tasks. Like, no, one could turn into the other in a matter of seconds. The next idea is that sometimes it's also okay to reposition and or leave a fight even after getting that health advantage. Again, big PSA on this one, but I see a lot of people pursue bad fights too much. And a bad fight, in my opinion, is one where the enemy keeps boxing up, making space, and just overall wasting your resources while there is an external pressure. And I'm sure for a lot of you that sounds like many fights you get into, especially if you're in an elite rank or up. So if you're unable to end these fights, you should be either full sending a 50-50 to end it quick or let the fight go. And that's more of a quick solution. Of course, the real answer is to practice more, find flaws in the enemy's gameplay to end the fight quicker without such polarizing options. But for most people, after just watching one video, those are your two options. But that's okay, and that's okay because oftentimes you can turn a quote-unquote bad fight into a good one by just repositioning. For example, say you get caught up in a whole build fight. The enemy keeps reboxing up and you are both possibly trading damage back and forth, and you can't seem to find that gap to squeeze in a kill shot. Many times when fights last this long, one of two things happen. Either a third party will come to pound pounce on you guys and wait you out, or Storm will sneak up right behind you and create pressure to move on from your fight. And if you guys have experienced either of these, you'll realize that you will often die in these scenarios, because fighting a fresh third party is tough, or fighting your current fight on the move while ticking zone damage is also tough. That's why, instead of letting these external troubles come to you, bring it to your enemy. And what I mean by this is, if you start to notice your fight take too long, maybe reposition closer to safe zone so you can zone camp your enemy. Or if you can't find that gap to kill him early on in the fight, make that storm pressure create that gap for you. But this time, you'll be in a favorable position, not on the ropes with him in zone. Or if you evacuate early and a third party pressures that old build fight where you just were, well, you're no longer there. And if you need to heal up, you can do that and then become the third party on the third party that third partied you. As a tongue twister. But just know there are benefits where you can still frag out even if you exit the fight early or reposition. Okay, but now I want to show you the types of fights where you should be repositioning and identify those. I want to go over my mistakes in this solo cash cup that happened last week where I was W keying everything. I didn't reposition due to the challenge I set for myself, but I want to point out the things that I noticed. And if you're enjoying so far, please drop a like and invest into the channel. Okay, so here we are in the cash cup and I see this guy during my W key game. At first, I'm actually not able to get a health advantage. We're just build fighting and nobody has gotten hit for damage yet. He almost boxes me one time and I'm able to escape, so then I just take high ground and I look to see what this guy wants to do. If you notice, this guy has the floor edited but not the cone, and he's just taking these pot shots by editing the wooden cone. Therefore, I get it weak enough and spray through as I'm jumping down to get my first health advantage of the day with a nice shotgun shot. So I didn't do a lot of damage to him, but he does start to make a ton of boxes and play out of these and make edit shots on me. So it gets really stressful. We're up into the sky, it is a solo cash cup, so people are looking. I'm applying a lot of pressure onto this guy and he edits on me while I get a nice corner shot on him without taking any return damage. From here, I push a little bit into his box, but I make sure to have my own piece, my own stair, and because of that, I'm able to take a right-hand advantage on him while he peeks from above. This guy was moving really quickly and repositioning, but because I didn't fully push into his box, I at least had that piece to protect me. I will say though, after getting that crack, I knew I had shield and he didn't, so I should have used this moment to phase in for a better advantage 50-50. Because like I said, you should phase in to end a fight quickly or back up and reposition to start that fight again and have a advantageous position against Storm and third parties. But I didn't do that. My blunder in this game was just playing in the middle of that. Instead of jumping into his box or repositioning to heal up, I heal up in the middle of our old builds and I get shot. It was a dumb move and I died because of that. I hope looking into my mindset helps out a bit, and if it does, please return the favor by using code reidtheninja in the item shop or at least another small creator's code. But for the rest of that tournament where I do W key a lot and way more efficiently than that blunder, click this video right here. It's me playing like Reet, dropping where he did, and going to town. It's the most kill heavy tournament I've played in a while, so if that's something you struggle with, check it out right here. Thank you so much for watching. On that note, I'm signing off.